And we are live back again in the building for another match preview, Spurs versus Manchester United preview. You're here on Pros Only TV with myself, Roland. Let's get into it.
Drop a can.
Yes, people. We are back in the building, back for another match preview. Manchester United versus Spurs. Tomorrow, 5:30 kickoff. We got a lot to talk about tonight, but before we begin anything, I need you people to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, hit that notification bell, share this video on your socials and all of that. Boy, there's a lot going on this week. I titled this Love and Hip Hop Man United because, bruv, it's been a reality TV show. It's been shameful and shocking from the club, all the leaks that have come out. But we got to talk about it, man, because the aftermath of that Liverpool defeat and everything that has happened since then, it's been a bit of a shambles, isn't it? But let's begin. So the leaks in the dressing room, right after the Liverpool game. So Monday there was a lot of rumors circling about, they're looking at new managers. Conte's already agreed this, that, and the other. And then Monday evening, we've seen that United had decided to stick with Oli through the next 3 games at least. Obviously, Sir Alex Ferguson would have been involved in those conversations and whatnot. Tuesday, we see Sir Alex go down to Carrington. A lot of conflicting reports as to why he was there. So he was there on one spectrum. People were saying he was there to back up Oli against the players who seemed to be turning on him or the players he'd already lost. But then on another report was saying that he went to Carrington to get fitted for a new club suit. And then after that, he had another event in Carrington with Ronaldo in the evening. He didn't speak to Oli or any players at all. So I mean, let's just run through a lot of these different rumors that kind of went on during the earlier part of this week after the Liverpool game. So let me just run through some of this stuff, because some of this stuff that I seen was mad, right? All right, so they were saying that if United sack Solskjaer, the Glazers are keen to bring in a manager for the long term who shares the club's traditions of blooding youngsters and playing attacking football. Now, on that in itself, as I said before, and I've said this in the last 3-4 weeks about what would happen if Oli was to get sacked, right? You don't bring in somebody for the long term. The squad you've got is primed to win right now. So you bring in a short-term manager. You do what Chelsea did with Tuchel. Give him an 18-month deal and say, go out there and win. If you can win, then we can reassess. And so that's why somebody like Conte right now would work with this squad. And, trying to give it to a Ten Hag without having the right structure behind him, it's not going to work. Like, he will flop like everybody else. And also the fact that, yeah, we're talking about blooding in youngsters. You're under pressure to get results. You can't blood in youngsters in that instance. You can't. Blooding in youngsters really happens, rarely happens, really. Like it can happen on a large scale if a team gets relegated, let's say from the Prem, and they've got you have to clear everybody who's on high wages, and then you have to rebuild with what's going on in your youth. But it's very rare that a youngster will break into a Premier League side, a top level Premier League side. I'm talking top 6. Very, very rare. You have to be really good, or there has to be a space opened up for you. So that's very strange that they're thinking in that kind of term. I feel like it's just somebody without credentials that you can kind of play around with. Do you know what I mean? Somebody is going to be happy to be a Man United manager. Like, that's not what we're looking for here. You've built an elite level squad. You bring in an elite level manager to manage that squad. But that's just my opinion. You get me? Now, there was another report saying, and this is all from different types of journalists across the UK. So the next one was Solskjaer fears his time in charge may be coming to an end following following a day of deafening silence at United. Sources emerged to offer him lukewarm support more than 24 hours after the 5-0 defeat. And And then they said that there was also like a collective group of people that said, "Oh, that we need to stick together and then move on with the move on after the defeat." But it's like a defeat in that manner against your biggest rivals, you can't just look past it. Like some questions have to be asked because there's no way that you can lose in that manner. Mo Salah getting a hat trick and dunking on you at OT in front of all those fans, it's embarrassing even. Like people are singing Ollie at the wheel. Did you not see it? Leeds fans were singing it. Preston North End, Liverpool, even in Germany they were singing it when Borussia Dortmund smacked Bayern Munich during the midweek. I mean, not Dortmund, sorry. Borussia Mönchengladbach smacked Bayern Munich 5-0 during the midweek. Them man was singing Ollie's at the wheel. That's how you know we're finished. It's crazy. But it was like, so then you know, what did they say? They said that Solskjaer asked his team for their thoughts on the issues causing United leaking so many chances and so many goals, and more than every single player or most players in that dressing room said, "You're the problem." Now imagine that's the case. If they're saying you're the problem, then it's finished. You're done. You have to be done. There's no way you're coming back from that. It's crazy. Another thing was that the manager gave the players the instruction prior to the Liverpool game to go out there and press. So you saw in elements we were pressing, and obviously people were confused because they were like, "Well, how are we supposed to press? Is it a full team press? Are we pressing very high? Are we doing a mid press? Or like what is it like? Do you know what I mean?" And so people were confused, and we saw that in certain elements of the game when we conceded some of the goals because the press wasn't, not everybody was pressing in unison and whatnot. So you're seeing all of that and you're saying to yourself, "Rah, so like, is this what's going on?" Let's see. There was some other some other comments and other rumors. United were uncertain about Conte's suitability to manage the club. Some high-ranking figures were not keen on Conte, and it's just like those high-ranking figures don't know anything about football. You bring in somebody like Conte right now with this squad, you're gonna get the best Man United that you can get out of this squad. He's gonna maximize so much of the potential that we have in this squad. It's probably man for man better than every other squad in the Premier League. So you bring in somebody to come and maximize that. We could. I'm not going to say if he was to come in, I'm not going to say he's going to win it, but we're definitely very, very close. It is what it is. Let me get into some comments before we move on. Big up Eagle Eye Football Rich. Go subscribe to Eagle Eye Football on YouTube. He says Popcorn Gang. Big up Ferbs. He says bless up yourself, my G. Hope you're good, my guy. Hope you're good. They said Solskjaer was in discussions with Ed Woodward and Richard Arnold, and basically they gave him the ultimatum just to tell him like, look, if you don't win your next 3 games, you're gone during the international break. And that's what I expected in the beginning. I was like, these next 3 games against Spurs, Atalanta, and City, you cannot give that to a new manager. So it's basically a stay of execution. You go out there, whatever performances, results come out of it, either way you're going to be gone. And that's what I think is. I feel like there's a general consensus at the club, players and the people in the board, and that he's taken the club as far as he can take it. It's a step too far for him. It's beyond him at this point, but you can't get rid of him because we haven't done a succession plan, which is even bad because you can't be just going around like on some free will thing. Like you have to plan ahead. Like he wasn't going to be there for the next 26 years like Fergie. You should have planned probably 3 years in advance. But when he as soon as he joined, the next 3 years, you have to assess it after a year and a half. And then you'd be like, well, is he, based on what we've seen over the year and a half, can he actually sustain this? Can he improve? If not, then you get rid or whatever. Do you know what I mean? So it's one of those things where it's kind of shocking and it exposes how badly the club is run. And for me, I'm just like, I don't know. There's a bunch of jokers that run our club, and it's just like, in order to, so what's so mad is that if you know you're not good at this kind of stuff, what you need to do is you need to mask it. You need to mask that deficiency as the board. So you bring in someone that's high level, high quality, that knows how to deal with footballing things, and let them deal with it. But you know how it is. It's an ego thing. Everybody wants to do everything. You know what I'm saying? But let's move on. The ideal scenario, they said, was for Solskjaer to win the next 3 games. But if there's any other loss, it's giving them time to sort out dealing with another manager. And I feel like tomorrow's game is not going to be the best indication because we could lose that game. I don't think it's going to be so bad, and we'll get into score predictions and what I think is going to happen in the game. But I don't think we're going to lose that game to the same manner we lost to Liverpool, for example, despite the fact that we're away from home and there's Kane and Son and whatnot. Like, I think it's going to be a bit more of a tighter game. It's going to be a lot tougher. I feel like United's, the way they're going to play is going to stink, and people are going to see that. But it is what it is. Let me just go through a few more of these leaks before we move on. Let me see. So yeah, they was talking about the heated discussion that happened after the Liverpool defeat. They were saying that some players were unhappy at the direction of the club, and you can tell it's going to be people that weren't playing games. You know that the people that haven't been given opportunities to play are going to be concerned that like not being getting an opportunity, despite the fact that I'm performing well in training. So you always know that's going to be a problem. The fact that David De Gea after the game said that we play like kids, and then when you link that to certain members of the squad have said that Kieran McKenna's coaching sessions have been likened to academy style coaching sessions. So the fact that they're saying that they play like kids is just it kind of links in with that, and it's just kind of mad with that. The whole Pogba rumors, saying that how if he doesn't if Ollie leaves, if Ollie doesn't leave, he's not signing a new deal. I feel like for me, I've already kind of said this already, that with Pogba, it's really about what the team does, but I don't think he's signing a new deal. He would have signed it at this point. I feel like the contract's been on the table. Probably the highest paid player or second highest paid player after Ronaldo in the squad. And for me, when I see that, I'm like, rah. So the contract's on the table, but he's not signing it. It's probably the clearest indication that he doesn't want to sign it. Like, at the end of the day, for him, his next career step is the best. Yes, his family is rumored to be settled in Manchester, but he can go back to France. He can go back to Paris, and be part of that PSG team. You looked at their midfield today. They beat Lille 2-1, but their midfield looks to be the thing that's a problem. I don't know what's gonna happen. He could go to Real Madrid as well. Opportunity to link up with a few man there too. So he's got options on the table, and he's going to be happy as well when making that choice. So I don't know what's going to happen there, but obviously he came out the next day and shut those rumors down. The Sun was doing some funny business, and he came out and said big lies to make headlines. And saying that he spoke to Ollie and the members of the team and said that that's not true. And the thing about it is, it's got nothing to do. I don't feel like a person signing a contract would be dependent solely on the manager in charge. At the end of the day, he's got so many other aspects with his life that he needs to make decisions on. So signing a contract, yes or no, is not just down to who's the manager in charge. Obviously you think about your career, but at the same time, there's other factors involved there. There was also rumors that Cristiano Ronaldo attempted to rally the dressing room together and said that nobody should be down in tools, regardless of who the manager is and what tactics they're employing that you may not agree with. And when I see that, I'm saying to myself, yes, that's good character from Ronaldo. He's one of those kind of people who will play his heart out regardless of what is going on the pitch. He'll be angry because he's competitive, especially if things aren't going his way. And that kind of sounds like a Ronaldo thing to kind of do, but it is what it is. And then there was the weird kind of rumor that came out that said United are prepared to lose Paul Pogba on a free next summer. And I'm just to myself, that's very embarrassing. Are you not embarrassed? How can you lose somebody on a free? He's gone to Juventus, won 4 Serie A titles, won the Coppa d'Italia and all of that, right? Comes back to your side, your record signing throughout your whole club's history, and then you don't build a team around him, which what's so mad is that you could have simply done it with some of the players that were in your side at the time. It's crazy, but hey, it is what it is. I don't know what we're doing. I don't know what we're doing. And then let's just look into a few more rumors. Conte says he'd be more than happy to work with Ronaldo, Pogba, Varane, Telles, Bruno Fernandes, Martial, Sancho, Greenwood, and Marcus Rashford. And in that list, we're not seeing no Maguires or Luke Shaws or even no Wan-Bissakas, none of that type of stuff. So it's very interesting to see those kind of names being read off, because obviously he'll be happy and lucky to be working with those types of players at his disposal. Conte has never really gone in a mid-season type of thing, and I think he did at at Chelsea, I think so. But to come in at this point in the season, but with the squad of players he has, he'll be able to figure something out, and get the best out of this team. And people, there's so many misconceptions surrounding like his demeanor, and the way he plays football. But in all honesty, like the way he's gonna play, like he's been able to kind of turn it into like that. He's been able to take that negative connotation from a three at the back into an attacking kind of style of play. So but you already know the way we're already conceding goals. We've conceded. We haven't kept a clean sheet at home since March, I think it is. In our last 21 games, we only kept one clean sheet. So a new manager coming in will stop us from leaking goals. Just get back to the basics. Let's be compact. Let's not concede goals, and then we can move forward from there. And Conte will be the guy to bring that kind of stuff in. And then obviously, yeah. When I'm looking at these Conte rumors, at the end of the day, I just have a feeling that Conte is coming in. Ollie's been sacked. It's just that the club haven't made their succession plan, and they haven't been able to do all the details, so they have to keep Ollie in charge. My personal opinion is, if you're going to sack Ollie, you sack him, get rid of the coaching staff and everything, put Darren Fletcher as the interim, let him manage these next 3 games, and then it will give you enough time it buys you enough time to get your stuff together. But in all honesty, the club don't work like that. But that's what I would have done. Do you know what I mean? But let me get in some more comments. Big up Fergie said, joke business, bro. He said Paul Pogba only stays if Ollie goes and the team looks like they're actually going somewhere. Plus, if no one else is offering what we are. No, that's true. But for his career, he probably should go because the board is clueless. Yeah, I agree with that, man. Like, I feel like, yeah, we're offering a lot more than what he may get elsewhere. But saying that, because he's going on a free, he's probably going to get a bag anyway. Like, I feel like there's obviously with PSG situation, if Mbappe leaves, then there's a space on the wage bill for them. And then at Real Madrid, there's going to be some money coming out of somewhere. I've heard rumors of that Spanish investment fund offering up 700 million euros to fund Real Madrid in whatever type of endeavors they're going to do moving forward. So that's going to be a bit mad. After these Conte rumors, there's been rumors in the media as well over the last week with Brendan Rodgers and Pochettino. Now, let me just kind of break them both down in terms of what I feel could happen with them, right? So on the Brendan Rodgers rumors, right, I understand why they've gone to do it, simply because, young manager, British, will come in and will raise the standard of the club potentially, because obviously we've been, these last 3 years under Ollie, it's all underdog talk. We're building process where he's gonna come in as like, this is Manchester United, one of the biggest clubs in England, if not the biggest. We have to be that. We have to play like that. And you see the way that Leicester team play, they bop the ball around beautifully. He could bring that to that Man United side, and it could work. Now, some top Reds are going to have the reservation and say, he used to be a Liverpool manager, so we never employ Liverpool managers. No, that's nonsense, because like one of our club legends played for Manchester City. He even scored against us to relegate us. Like people conveniently forget these little things when it doesn't suit their little narratives, isn't it? But so with Rodgers, I think him coming in would be good. But I feel like with this squad of players and the egos and whatnot, you need someone who's won things at a high level like Conte has, to be able to manage the egos, because that's the biggest thing here. You got players, obviously Pogba, Ronaldo, Cavani, you could say Rashford, Greenwood to a certain extent, Sancho to a certain extent, Bruno, who feel like they're big super. Obviously, some of them are big superstars. Others are not there, but feel like they are. And so you need a manager to come in, level it out, and say, "I'm in charge. You guys are going to follow what I do." So I just have some reservations on Rodgers doing that. He's won an FA Cup, and I think he's won a League Cup in his career. He hasn't won much. He was very close to winning the Premier League with Liverpool, but that was very gun-ho type of football. Like, Liverpool scored a bag of goals, probably close to 100 goals in the league that season, but they conceded 50. So You know, there's an element of that as well. How defensively solid can he get this side? You know, it's despite the fact we have all this attacking talent, can he get us defensively solid? I also have a question mark on that. Now moving on to the Pochettino rumors. Obviously, Poch once again sneaked another win in Ligue 1 this tonight. Now there's been rumors where like the board still retains support for Pochettino coming in as a Man United manager. They had their opportunity and did not take it when he was a free agent at the time. Now his start at PSG has been very shaky. He's been put in there not to win the league, essentially to win the Champions League. They've given him all the tools to now win that Champions League. There's very close eyes watching whether he's going to win that Champions League. Now, obviously, it's a cup competition, and when you get into knockout stages, anything can happen. So we have to wait and see on that. Now, should he come to United? I don't know. I feel like that ship has sailed for me. You know, for all the good work he did at Spurs, and there was an opportunity for him to step up to now elite level, because obviously we have that elite bracket of managers in our league currently with Klopp and Pep, and then below that, you at the time you could have said Rodgers, Poch, and whatnot. Now he's gone on to PSG. The start has been shaky. I have a worry about whether he can handle egos too. He's got a lot of egos in that dressing room at PSG with Neymar, Mbappe, Messi, you know, whoever else, Marquinhos, Ramos. You know, like there's some big characters in that dressing room, and I feel like he's failing to manage that. Now it's interesting saying that with Messi being subbed in a few of these games. I don't know if it's injury related or not. I haven't really looked too closely into it, but it should be very interesting to see what happens there. Now, when you look at what's happening with the Pochettino situation, he signed an extension not too long ago, I think at the start of this season, but there's going to be a lot of interesting eyes around that, depending on what happens with PSG in this Champions League campaign. Now, I feel like that ship has sailed, so that's probably not going to happen, but his name keeps getting thrown up in there. Let's move on to the Harry Maguire comments he made, because obviously he's had to kind of face up the media over the last week. Obviously, after the game, it was pretty horrible, like what he was saying. You know, he didn't want to be there and all of that, and that's not what you want to hear from your captain. But let me just give you some, like, just some of the stuff he did speak about today. So he said, it's been a tough week. Obviously, you can't brush these things aside, especially when you lose to your biggest rivals. To lose in that manner was the way we did was so disappointing. We obviously had big discussions. We've analysed the Liverpool game and the goals, and looked at how we can do better and improve. We need to come together as a group and a club. We know our fans will be with us. Will be with us come Saturday, like at Tottenham. Like I said, they will be there in their numbers, and I'm sure they'll be singing along and chanting, and we'll be right with us and getting behind us. We know as a group of players, we need to make sure that we're tougher. We're together and we're positive. It's a tough one to move on from, but we need to move on. Now, when I'm looking at the comments he's made, right? I'm like, first and foremost, you've got to look inwardly. In life, yeah, you need to be self-aware. And when I'm looking at, like, one, he's half fit. Like, it's clear he's half fit. And if you don't say to yourself, like, yo, boss, I'm not well, I need to sit the game out. Man's not doing that. So you're putting yourself in the firing line if things go wrong. So what's gonna happen now, yeah, is like there's gonna be a lot more scrutiny on him now. Like, I don't like the fact that he's come out today to come and say this. Like, this is something that he should have been saying on Sunday. I know it's difficult to manage that after a defeat, like to articulate that type of stuff after a defeat. But fam, you've got to be like, you got to put your chest out and speak from your heart, like that it's embarrassing. And now I'm gonna do my thing. Like I'm gonna make sure that we pattern up, and then we do our thing out there. So the problem is that, like, I didn't like those comments, man, and you know what? It's just mad. It's mad. I feel like he's just playing up to the cameras. He's trying to, like, say, oh, I know I'm the captain here. I have to speak on behalf of everybody else, this, that, and the other. And I'm just like, bro, you don't even need to say nothing, man. Like literally, you've shown on several occasions on the pitch that you're not a leader. Like there's players in that side that are bigger leaders than you. Everybody saw that thing last season at Palace away when Harry Maguire was like trying to talk to Rashford and he told him to F off, you knobhead, yeah. Like everybody's seen that. So it's like then there's no respect for him in that dressing room. And so there's no respect for the manager and there's no respect for the captain. So it's just a shambles. It's literally a shambles. And then the Ollie's press conference, like I feel like I've got some quotes. Let me just double check if we got some quotes here, man, about that. Solskjaer said when he was asked if he was feeling good, he's like, good. Why shouldn't I be? I'm talking to you lot. It's been a difficult week, of course. We've had to deal with the result and the performance against Liverpool, which we know wasn't good enough, and that's something that footballers have to deal with. That's why we're in this game. You have to look forward to the next game, make sure you're ready, and then when you get to that next game, sort it out and challenge the problems. We've had a good week on the training field. When he says sort out the problems, yeah, you know what's mad about it? Yeah, it's like the problems are there to see. The problems are coming from you and your coaching staff. You sort it out. It's not about them coming onto the pitch. What are they supposed to do? If Bruno is doing a press and he's running towards the keeper, and then when we lose the ball, yeah, the midfielders are exposed. That's your job. You tell him to come back. It don't make sense. And then he says, we need a reaction, and it's my job as well it's my job as well to put the players in the right frame of mind. I'm responsible for the reaction, the result, and the performance, which is true. You're responsible for all of that. You're responsible for all of those things. Like it's not on the players only. But yeah, he says on the Liverpool game, this is the mad one. He goes, it felt like we were a boxer being punch drunk, knocked down in the first 4 minutes in the first round. We had a chance, we conceded the goal. We wanted to sort it out, but we went a bit too open and frantic against a good team. But that's your job. Your job is to say, hey, calm it down for 10 minutes. Keep the ball. Like, I don't understand how you can bring these analogies after the game. You were there analyzing it. You have the iPad. That's the reason why you have it there, so you can analyze in game. And then when you've analyzed it, you say, guys, calm down, keep the ball, quieting them down for 10 minutes. They're running ragged. Like, I don't get it. Like, how can you come here and say this? Man's talking about Tyson Fury. He said, you see Tyson Fury when he gets knocked down a couple of times. It's remarkable how calm and composed he is on the floor. Counts to 6, 7, 8, and he gets up again, and he gets up and he goes again. We've got up too early, and we've tried to sort it. He needs to shut up, man, with these comments, man. I don't get it. I really don't understand like why he wants to do this type of stuff. Like, at the end of the day, it's on him and that coaching staff to sort out what's going on the field. People can't be running around doing their own thing. People can't be pressing when there's no press for you to do. Like, it's mad. Like, and the fact that he come out to speak in this manner, like, I'm not gonna say he's finished from the way he's speaking. He looked finished after the Liverpool defeat, like when he was walking down the tunnel after the game. Obviously, he's probably not had no like clear assurances as to what's happened, or he's been told you got these 3 games sorted out. I believe that's what's happened. You've got 3 games, try and sort it out. 2 of those games are more difficult than the Spurs one, I believe, because Spurs are proper Spursy. It's like, yeah, it's a bit mad, but I'm gonna leave it at that, innit? Let me get into some more comments before I move on. Big up Readers United in the building says, I'm chilling till the waste man is gone. That's the only way to live, my guy. You have to be chilling because you can lose your head over this type of stuff. Big up Red Devil 11 in the building says, rolling, my guy. I hope you're good, my guy. Yeah, you're modded up, bruv. So watch it, bruv. The bot's about to get it. He says, I don't personally want either of them right now. I feel like we need a serial winner for the short term. Get this team out of the funk and back to winning ways. 100% agree. Ferbs, you and me agree on this thing, bruv. Like, I've said this already. I prefer you bring in a short-term manager, give him a short-term contract, someone that's elite, someone that can deal with this squad properly. We go out there, try and win something this season, like in terms of a cup. You have an FA Cup and you have the Champions League to try and go for. Not saying that they can win it, but they can try and go for it. And then finish as high up in the table as possible, because right now we're 8 points off. After the City defeat, potentially we could be 12 points off. Like, so it could be you're asking too much of the teams above to drop points, and for your team to go on some long ass run to try and catch them up. So, Try and finish in the top 4 and as high up in the top 4 as possible. Fourth, third, second, whatever. But you're not going to win it, in my opinion. Harry's a waste man. Yeah, you're a mod, bro. You're a mod, bro. Yeah, you're the street police, fam. You're just gonna be on them still. Yeah. Mod, you get at them bots. You get me. He says, stop talking and show it on the pitch. Walk the walk and stop the talk. That's it, man. 100%, bro. I don't want to see no more apologies, bro. I've seen Rashford apologizing, talking about I'm a United fan. I understand in it, like you're a United fan, Manchester born and bred. You know you got love for the club and all of that. But fam, what you're doing right now is you're on the pitch. You have a job to carry out. Like stop apologizing and show us performances on the pitch. Like I think it's a bit harsh to give him any criticism right now. He's only just come back from injury, so I'm not going to get onto Rashford about that. But I just wish footballers just would stop doing it. But in all honesty, it's not even their fault. We've got PR teams that telling them or telling their teams to be like, put this out after games when we lose because it shows engagement with fans. And it's like, me personally, I don't care. Like, them man don't know me. Them man are chilling in their big houses, in the hot tubs, mansions with whatever they got going on in there. They do not care about me personally. Do you know what I'm saying? So I don't care if they apologize. All I want for them to do is when they go out for the next game on the pitch, go and put in a performance here that I can be proud of as a supporter. Do you know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. Yeah, he's chatting rubbish as per usual. Big up Jerry United. Go subscribe to United Team Talk on YouTube. He says straight lies, same old crap. He says, yeah, man, it's the same stuff. Like it's the same stuff. I've stopped watching all the presses at this point. They're way too toxic. Fam, I do not watch presses. Like I've not watched any presses since Mourinho because Mourinho's ones was box office as usual. Do you know what I'm saying? Man's lost the plot altogether now. When you start clutching at straws the way he is, he's done out here, bro. It's true. You can't be talking about no Tyson Fury, in a press conference. Boxing and football are completely different, fam. Don't be talking about that type of stuff, bro. Big up Santi in the chat. I hope you're good. I see. Yeah, I figured out how to mod up people. You know what I'm saying? Yes, come on. He's a dead man walking. Of course he is, bro. He is. He looked like he was a dead man walking after the defeat. Do you know what? You know the thing is, I feel like we're not giving Harry Maguire enough credit of how bad that defense is. I mean, the thing about it is we have Varane in defense, right? And it's like we have Varane in defense, and even he looks bad. That's what's mad about it. Like he looks bad, like next to Maguire, and it's like, what do you need to do is you need to take him out of the firing line. And we're gonna talk about lineups, and we've got something that I'm gonna do for this lineup, and I'm gonna show you guys something, but. Yeah, it's pretty mad. Big up Brush in the building. What's good, people? I can see us breathing life back into Kane. Fam, please. I don't want to see this kind of stuff. I want us to win. Like, but it is United, and you know how people just all of a sudden miraculously turn up against United. But let's talk about Spurs. I mean, their form has been very indifferent since the start of the season. They won their first 3 games of the season. And some deluded Spurs supporters were saying, "Oh, they could be title contenders," just like it was the season before. And then since that first 3 games, they've had very indifferent results. They lost to Arsenal, they lost to Palace as well. Those were back-to-back 3-0s. They lost their last game out against West Ham. They lost in the Conference League against Vitesse or Chelsea under 23s, if that's what you want to call it. Don't shoot the messenger though. And it's kind of put Nuno under a bit of pressure right now. And I feel like Spurs fans are moving a bit hasty with that kind of pressure right now because, in all honesty, what do you expect when the captain of your team throughout the whole summer dragged out a transfer saga that basically was non-existent because you set a price that was probably too high for the club that wanted to buy him. And so he's there, he's not happy. And then, the squad that you've added to, there's not enough quality being added to that squad. So, they're in a bit of a state of limbo right now. It's like, where are we aiming for right now? Are we aiming to try and get back into the Europa League, which is probably their aim, try and get back into that top 6? Now, I don't know, man. I don't know what's going to happen for Spurs this season. I don't know where they'll finish. I feel like it's really dependent on what Harry Kane does, because Harry Kane really needs to be putting in that work on the field. He hasn't really scored many goals this season. And let me just get the stats on how many goals he scored this season. It's not many. So let me just have a look at what he scored this season. Let's see. He's only scored one goal in the Prem this season, and then it's kind of crazy still. And then yeah, like, so I mean, look, at the end of the day, like scoring one goal in the Prem, it's a bit of a madness. I feel like Son's played better than him this season, of course. I think that's what it is. And Tottenham fans look like they've had enough of Nuno already. And it's like, what do you expect of a manager who was at Wolves in the first season? He was pretty like open and expansive, and then he reverted to this kind of defensive type of style, hard to beat first, and then counter attack. He was going to bring that to Spurs. I don't know what's going to happen with with all of this, but bro, I feel like with Nuno under pressure, Spurs. I mean, look at last season's fixtures, for example. They beat us 6-1 at OT. Obviously, Martial got sent off with the little thing that he had with Lamela, and then we were too open, and Spurs exploited that. But then when you look at the reverse fixture, when we went back to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium last season, we beat them 3-1. I think that for me was the most complete performance from United side under Oli in his time. So I feel like from the first minute to the 90th minute, we were completely the better team, even though we went down 1-0 to against the run of play, basically. Now, in that game, he played a 4-4, he played a 4-2-2-2. So you obviously had the back five as usual, but then you had the two in midfield who I think on that day were Fred, I think it was McFred in that midfield. And then the two in front was Pogba and Bruno, and then the two up front was Cavani and Rashford. Bruno and Pogba would split off, and they would be picking up positions on the left and on the right at times. So that was, and so then at times it may look like a 4-4-2, but it wasn't that. So that was probably our most complete performance. And like when I look at those fixtures, I'm like, if we haven't, we should have stuck with that formation. Literally, that throughout the rest of the season, that's how we should have played, and everything kind of reverted to type when we got to that Europa League final. So, I mean, last season's fixtures probably are not going to have an indication on what happens today, because both managers are under pressure. I think both managers will not be looking to lose. So I'm thinking it's going to be a draw. But we'll move on to the lineups before we talk about score predictions. But before we do that, we are going to go into the comments. Let's see where we at. Here we are. It says big up Santi. He says man is supposed to be our captain, and if you're a good enough defender, then you should be able to handle the thing. Varane. The thing is, Varane was saving his Arsenal season, which is true. The presser was like, they told them don't ask about stuff to pressure him. Yeah, that's probably what happens. The communications managers, that's what they do. Especially I've seen it over the years. They'll be telling people you can't ask, you can't, and the woman will be right there. So I don't know if the woman's in the room because of COVID and all that. I don't know if we're gonna go back to those things and whatnot, but we'll see what happens. He says, bro, I'm a non-believer, but after Paul, I might have to holler at Jesus, Krishna, Allah, all of them, man, bro, fam. I say I don't know what to say in it, but you might have to call on all of them, fam, to make sure we don't get battered tomorrow. This is Spurs Cup final. I see them showing up big time. I'm not gonna lie. So Ronaldo needs to pack us, fam. I don't agree with this whole. I want us to lose short-term pain for long-term gain. I don't agree with it. At the end of the day, the club will make the decision when they want to make it. The results will have to show. I want my team to win. Don't see them winning in this game. I feel like after a 5-0 defeat, you can't go too gun-ho. Like, you have to kind of like manage it a bit. But yeah, it's pretty mad. It's pretty mad. But we're going to move on to the lineups. And we're gonna do something a little bit different right now, which I've not done before. Let me just do one thing. Just give me a second. Make sure, yeah, here we are. Let me see. We are going to pick these lineups right now. Here we are. Hope everybody can see that. So my lineups we'll start off with Spurs. I think they're gonna do the same team as they played against West Ham, which was a poor game for them. But I feel like the players that started in that game will play. So we'll go Lloris. Yeah, so you go Lloris in goal. At centre half, we'll go Christian Romero, and then alongside him, we'll go Eric Dyer. We'll go Eric Dyer. At right back, it's gonna be Emerson Royale. Is he there? Where is he at? Let me see. Let me see. I can't even see him. Yeah, he's just called Emerson. Um, Left back is Regulon. I don't think I spelled it right. Yeah, there it is. Regulon. At CDM, I think they're playing a 4-2-3-1, like I think they always do. So Hoiberg there, and then alongside him, I think Skip will play. Oliver Skip. And then at Cam, who plays Ndombele. Ndombele at right wing is going to be Lucas Amora. Left hand side is Sonaldo. Where's he at? Whoa! I said put Cavani in there. What is going on? Where is he at? Where we at? There's a lot of players there, mate. There we go. And up front, Harry Kane. So that's my Spurs. That's what I think that the Spurs team's gonna be. And yeah, that's it. Now United's team. Now this is the interesting one for me. United's team, I think, are gonna be very interesting. I have a feeling that there's gonna be 5 changes to the squad. I feel like you can't really go with those players that you played with on Sunday simply because they were his trusted players and they failed him on that day. McFred failed him, Harry Maguire, Luke Shaw, they failed him too. And Greenwood to a certain extent will have to be an expendable just because he's young and it's been happening, wherever, even though he's played well, Solskjaer's taken him off. And I feel like he was just going to take him out of the firing line anyway. So I think 5 changes is going to happen. I know Varane is back, but he'd be stupid of rushing him back after he rushed Harry Maguire back, and you saw the problems there. So for me, I think 5 changes are going to happen from that game. We'll start off with De Gea in goal. As usual, he's been on fire this season. At centre half, I think Eric Bailly comes into the side because there were rumours that Bailly was badding up Solskjaer for not playing him. Obviously, I think Lindelof will come in and I think he will drop his captain. I know it's a bit wild, but I think he'll drop his captain for the game. Because in all honesty, he's not covered himself in any glory in his performances in the last 3 games since he's come back from injury. So I feel like he's gonna get dropped. You can call me mad, but here's what it is. Right back, I'm gonna put Wan-Bissaka. Let me do this. There we go. Wan-Bissaka. At left back, I think Luke Shaw gets dropped and Alex Telles comes back in. I feel like Telles is unlucky to not have overtaken Shaw in the side, especially after his goal against Villarreal to bring us back into that game. His attacking threat is something that we've not seen much of at United for whatever reason. But I feel like he deserves a chance ahead of Luke Shaw, who's been very poor since the Euros and returning. In the midfield pivot, you're going to think I'm crazy for this one as well, but I feel like Matic will come back into the side. You need the experience back in that midfield. Somebody that, as I said, that provides defensive stability, can push the ball forward as well. And next to him, I feel like Donny's going to get his chance tomorrow. I have a feeling that Donnie Van Der Beek is going to get his chance tomorrow because, another player who's been, kind of been at like a high talking point, yeah, in this whole thing is Donny. You know, there's been talks of him, you know, wanting to change his changing his agent so he can engineer a move in January and whatnot. You know, the fact that you know, he trains very well. He doesn't his head doesn't drop. Like, he's a very positive member of the squad, and still not being picked in the squad. I feel like he gets his chance tomorrow. Um, at in the 10, I think it's going to be Bruno. Um, he's not going to get dropped. He's just one of those players that's not going to get dropped. I think on the right hand side, don't shoot me for this, but I think Ronaldo goes on the right. Now, wait, no. It's Cristiano, not. There we go. I think he goes right hand side. Now, the reason why I think he goes right hand side is because I feel like Cavani will go up top, and Cavani is known for pressing from the front. He does it regardless of what's happening with the team, and we've missed that to a certain extent. Last season, you saw how effective it was, and I feel like Solskjaer, with his whole hard yards and running and passion type of stuff, I can see him putting Ronaldo on the right. He's going to be ineffective. He's not going to be asked to track back. Of course, he's going to just get involved in the attack. He would come inside and try and like add a bit more to that threat in the box. Left wing is obviously going to be Rashford. Rashford's come back from injury. And then up front, as I said, Cavani. So that's my team. And you know, I feel like he's gonna ring the changes because you can't use that team that you've lost 5-0 against, like, because if you play that team, we're gonna be looking at you and we're gonna be saying, raw, like, really, these men that have failed you, you're putting them again in the side. Like, of course you can say, oh, they're gonna come, they have to come good, they have to, you know, show something, this, that, and the other, but nah, they don't run for me, man. Those guys that were trusted, they're not it anymore. Like, you got to take them out. But let me get some more comments. Let me see what you guys are telling me about this squad, this first 11. Not trying to be toxic, Roland, but believe me, I just want my club back. That's the only way the Glazers will be forced to be making any move. You know, yeah. I mean, we all want our club back, bro. In all honesty, we want our club back. We want to see our team, you know, at the top of the table again. We want to see us lifting trophies and all of that. And to be honest, I can't fault anybody. I can't fault people if, you know, they want to move however they want to move to make sure that our club comes back into our hands. You know what I'm saying? The last time we started that centre back pairing, we lost 6-1, so I back it. Fam, I just have a feeling that Bailly comes back into this side. The way he was batting up Solskjaer, I have a feeling he comes back into this side. And Lindelof hasn't really done so badly. You know, he's been, you know, a part of the mistakes, but that's really on Shaw and Harry Maguire. So he's fit and healthy, he will play. And Ollie does trust him. Varane coming back in so soon, I wouldn't do it. But you know Ollie, and you know the way he's gonna do it. Eric knows what has to be done, fam. I trust Bailly. I trust Bailly. So why we buy Sancho? I have no idea why we bought Sancho, because, like, at the end of the day, the way he plays football is not the way we play football. Solskjaer's asking him to be very direct and go at his fullback, but no, that's not how he plays. Now, to be honest with you, he hasn't really used Sancho as much as we thought he was going to be after signing him for that amount of money. So I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see him in this side anyway. So it's going to be interesting. Obviously, Ronaldo being on the right-hand side is a bit far-fetched, but I feel like he's going to have to keep Ronaldo into this side, but he would also want Cavani in there too. So, you know, to kind of compensate for the lack of pressing that people say Ronaldo don't do, you put Cavani in there, and in all honesty, that right-hand side is going to be very vacated, and Ronaldo's going to keep going towards Cavani and be in that box area to try and get on the end of some chances. So that's what I think is going to happen anyway. Big up Red Devil 11. He said, I'm a lifelong United fan. Believe me, Roland. I just want this pain to be over. A win or a draw will just paper over the cracks without doubt. I feel like he's already gone, but it is what it is. You know, like, a draw is probably the most likely result I think is going to happen, but we have to wait and see. Because if we still have Ollie for the City match, it'll be another 6-1. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to that game. I'm gonna bring on my guy for the City preview, and he's gonna be talking a lot of shit. So you're gonna be seeing me here moving a bit mad still. But it is what it is. At OT, yeah, we're at home as well. So yeah, I'm not with that either. I don't trust him to get it right, even if they sack him. Carrot could be interim or some madness. I said earlier on in the show, I feel like what should have happened was you put you get rid of Ollie, the coaching staff, you put Fletcher in as the interim, you find it buys you time to go and find the person you need. To be honest with you, there's only one option here. You go for Conte simply because he's a winner. He's a winner. He's gonna win he'll be able to get something out of this squad and win. Do you know what I'm saying? And as I said, you go short term because we're not ready to do the long term thing. So it is what it is. Luis Campos, I think he's at Real Madrid, in my opinion. Yeah, I think he's in Real Madrid. I think he's at Real Madrid. Ralph Rangnick, there's rumors of him going to Newcastle potentially. So, you know, it is what it is on that side. Like, I understand the need for the footballing structure, but that's when you're thinking long term. And the fact of the matter is, United think long term means the manager has to be there for 5+ years. No, long term planning is succession planning. Essentially, we should be having managers coming in every 3 years, and then you move the next guy on, and then who's the next hot guy that is good at dealing with squad of players, and you bring him in, and then also you do the same with the squad. You bring in the manager, make sure that you've got your eye on the next crop of talent that are ready to emerge, that play the similar, that can play or fit into a similar style of play that your team is actually doing. We're not doing that. So you're saying long-term planning, you're bringing in a Ralph Rangnick or whatever like that, right? And you're like, well, what style of play are we going to play? Like, I prefer to have the style of play put down, and then it's going not just from the first team, it goes all the way down the levels from the first team down to under eights. Like, everybody plays the same way. You bring in a manager that can play that similar style. Then the people in the back who are doing the recruitment in terms of players and the recruitments in terms of managers have a 3-year plan. So every 3 years, we're looking at how do we improve the squad. That's on the recruitment side for players. Then we're looking at the next hot new manager that plays the style of play that we do at our club throughout all levels, and then make sure that we're on the next hot manager that's doing the same thing, and then try and bring them in and make sure there's a plan behind that. But it is what it is. We'll be fine with some proper football people in charge. Yeah, it's true. We don't like. I'm surprised that Fletcher got that technical director's role. He's on the pitch more than he's in the boardroom, which is mad to me. Structurally, those guys will set up us nicely, but it's too logical for these clowns to do it, which is true. Darren as an interim would be solid. I don't care what people think. I think so too. I feel like he would come in as the interim, or he should have come in as the interim. I feel like that ship sailed as well. It's clearly evident that Ollie's going to be doing the next 3 games, so it's kind of a live or die type of thing. I think that if we lose against Atalanta, that is probably Europa League set in stone potentially. We need a result in that game, and I don't know if this team's got it in them to do it. Fletcher gets first refusal on all opens at United, so it wouldn't surprise me. Yep, and I could see a draw too. It's El Sackio, so both managers will play it safe. Yeah, that's the way I see it. But I'm gonna stop sharing this. But yeah, on to the match predictions and how I feel like the match is gonna kind of go on. I see a draw. It's got draw written all over it. I feel like there's pressure on both managers, more on Ollie than there is Nuno. Now, Nuno's going to set up to make sure he doesn't concede, and then try and nick it on the counter attack. United have only played one way under Ollie this whole time, counter attacking football. We're away from home, so it's better. It's more effective away from home. Depending on what team he puts out there, I'll be very, very, very shocked if the same team that played against Liverpool come into this. He has to go with the changes because he has to ring changes, regardless of how he's looked at in the squad and how it looks for certain people that haven't played really at all this season to come into the side. He has to change it because you put in so much trust in these players, and them having to fail you, them failing you in that game against Liverpool, when against your biggest rivals, when it's all said and done, doesn't look good. So making changes will show, all right, I've got other players in my squad. I've got to put them in there, and I'm going to see what happens. And that's what's like. Either way, he doesn't look good, so you might as well make the changes and then see what happens. You can't, put those same trusted players in because they're your favorites. They failed you, so it is what it is. So I see 5 changes. That team that I had, I think, is going to be the team that goes out there tomorrow. I see it being a very cagey game. Both teams are under pressure. I'm not too sure on what the scoreline is. I see it being a 1-1. It could be a 0-0 draw, a 1-1, because at the end of the day, Oli doesn't want to lose. Nuno also doesn't want to lose because he doesn't want the fans on his back at Spurs, because they look like they already want him out. So, it's going to be a very tight, cagey game. There's probably going to be one, if any team's going to win, it's going to be 1 goal in it. But I see a draw, and then, it is what it is. Let me get into some more comments to wrap this up. It's been a quick one. I'm trying to make sure that for most fixtures this season, there's a rival fan on here so we can bounce off each other for the previews and whatnot. That'd be good. But yeah, I think it's going to be a draw tomorrow. The streets are dubbing it El Sackio. So, it depends on whoever loses is on his way to the sack. But it is where it is. 100% wholesale changes to be made for sure. I just see that happening. I can't see you playing McFred after the backlash that you've got all this time for playing them. You've gotten away with results here and there, but this season in particular is gone. It's like really just gotten it's rock bottom now, and losing in that game against Liverpool is crazy. I feel like a lot of instructions are going to be handed out where we're not going to be pressing. Bruno's not going to be running mad like mad. If I see that tomorrow, it's mad. If I see that tomorrow, I'm going to be screaming at my TV. Wouldn't be surprised to see him rush Varane back into the lineup. Yeah, he did it with Maguire against Leicester. Yeah, I can see that happening. Yeah, it's crazy. I can see Varane also starting as well, but I didn't put him in there. I feel like Baye should start because he's fit right now. Lindelof has been playing, so it is what it is. I just feel Bubblehead will play. Jimmy Slavhead. He's saying he's his all-time fave. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna start getting some rival fans on there just so we can kind of bounce off each other in these games. There'll be definitely one for the Man City preview. Somebody I've known for a very long time. He's a City fan, like born in Manchester and all of that. So we'll have him on. And me and him are friends in it, so we've known each other for 10 plus years. So we'll be bouncing off each other, and we'll be talking about the rivalry, the game, our team's forms, the situations, and all of that. It's going to be very depressing to do that because his team is now at the top of the food chain and all of that. But it is what it is. Yeah, let me get into these last comments before we move out. Free Eric and all of that. But yes, guys, I'm going to wrap it up right here. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for the comments as well. Your comments are always appreciated. And yeah, tomorrow, 5:30 kickoff. United potentially could get a win. It could be a draw. I believe it's going to be a draw. If we lose, it's very, very peak for Oli. He could be gone if the manner of that defeat is really bad. But yeah, I'm going to get out of here right now. Make sure you like this video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Hit that notification bell. Share this on the socials. We are out. Peace.